Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Before we get into a really big review of the Quantum deck today by Craig Petty, you know we always start off with a fiddle tune here. So this is called The Boys of Blue Hill. Alright, there we are with the fiddle tune. Hey, I'm pumped about today's review. But before we get into that, if you don't know who I am, I'm FiddlinJonny. This is my fiddle channel and magic product review. And Quantum is one of those products I've been so eager to get it into my paws and get a review out there for you. I'm going to answer all of the questions that you have regarding this deck. Maybe talk a little bit about the controversy. We'll see how we feel. Anyway, stick around and we're going to get right into this. Hello everyone. Hey, I'm really excited today to be doing a review of the Quantum deck by Craig Petty, released through Murphy's Magic. Boy, there's been just a lot of hype around this. There's been some drama on this one, and so anyway, I hope I can be helpful to you to sort through all of that on the Quantum deck. I'm going to do this one a little bit different today. Let me talk a little bit about what are, let's see if maybe I'll put it up here. I'm going to answer your questions that have come in. So here's some of the questions. What do you get? How is the gimmick? Is it durable? And how long will it last? How is the tutorial? Can you really hand the cards out to a spectator? Can a magician inspect the cards? Can a spectator pick any number? Can a spectator pick any card, or is it always the same card chosen each time? How easy is it to perform? Does this effect live up to the hype? And how much does it cost? And for what it's worth, is it worth it? And finally, I'm going to do something I've never done on this channel. I'm going to wade into disagreements that happen in the magic community. Craig Petty had a disagreement with Luke Dancy in the magic community earlier this week, or last week now. And anyway, I'm going to do a little editorial at the very end on that. All right, let's talk about what the heck is the Quantum deck. Well, there's been lots of the trailers out there that did a great job teasing it, getting us all interested. Lots of folks signing up for the pre-sale, myself included. And I'll quickly say, don't ever do the pre-sales. Wait for it to come out and listen to folks like myself and other reviewers so that you can get our different perspectives to see if it's really valuable for you and does it work as advertised. All right, leave the pre-sale for folks like us reviewers for you. All right, and so what is this? So you're gonna get this deck of cards here, and what's the effect in essence? It is a card at any number routine. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Or it's an any card at any number routine, except what's unique about it is that it is done with a blank deck of cards, and that both sides of your cards are both blank. A spectator chooses a number, and the only printed card in the deck is at that number in the deck. That's what the effect is. That's a strong effect. Any card at any number effects have been really popular, and they're popular for a reason, because it's a really solid effect. Often it's the burgless effect, and it's a take on the burgless effect, or any card at any number. All right, so what do you get? You're going to get this box. In this box, you're going to get the code to get the streaming video or downloadable video, which is 5.5 hours in length now. I think Craig added another 30 minutes to it recently. And in that, you're also going to get, in this little white box, a deck of cards, the Quantum deck to be exact. And they are just double-sided United States Playing Card Company cards. That's all they are, that happen to be gimmicked. So that's what you're going to get. And so let's talk first of all about the tutorial before we talk about the gimmick. And I'd have to say, nobody can criticize Craig Petty for the length of his tutorials. He goes way above and beyond in terms of the amount of content he produces in the tutorial. He'll always give you lots of ideas, lots of different ways to perform effects, lots of different routines, and at different levels as well, from beginner to advanced, which I really appreciate and is unlike most releases out there currently. So, how's the tutorial? I think the tutorial is done really well, in part because the amount of content that you get, but Craig is also a good teacher. If you saw my very last video, Picturesque, from two giants and legends in Magic whom I love and adore, but I didn't like the tutorial because I thought the tutorial was done poorly. That is not true on the Quantum deck. Craig is a good teacher here and does a really nice job. The quality of filming too is fine. I think they went for a little bit of an artsy look, and Craig looks a little washed out color-wise, but that has nothing to do with me being able to see the tutorial and the quality of the content. All right. So on top of, let's talk about the tutorial, and you're also going to get in this tutorial, and I think I mentioned it's streaming and downloadable. You're going to get on that a full hour of live performances. So hats off to you, Craig, in providing a full hour of performances, and it's everything from close up to stage essentially in those performances. You're also in that, you've probably heard out there that it only requires a single deck of cards, and that would be the Quantum deck that is included. But you will get additional routines that can involve another deck. So you can do some of the routines, if you want to, can be with an additional deck. So that had come up over the past week, and I wanted to address that. But if you don't want to do that, you can just use the Quantum deck. Here are the names of the routines on this. There's a can, card at any number. There's a couple of A cans, any card at any number. So you're going to get a standard A can, you're going to get a Psychic Force A can, and you're going to get an Index System A can as well. You're going to get a routine called Fade Away, a routine called Birthday Quantum, which is great because it's so personalized by involving your spectator's birthday. You're going to get a signed card transpo. You're going to get a named card becomes printed at any number, and you're going to get a faces transposition as well. So there's 9 different routines that are going to be taught on this. That is not skimping by any stretch. All right, so I do think that the card at any number routine is great, and Craig has taken that concept and really added a new part or a new way of doing this with the blank-faced cards. So I like that, really like that. All right, let's get into viewers' questions. And the first question is, can you really hand the cards to your spectators? Now, there's been questions about this, and so I can say now, without equivocation, and even having done this myself, yes, you can hand the cards to the spectators and not have any worries at all. All right? While the cards are all gimmicked, your spectator will not notice the gimmick. If they notice the gimmick, they won't quite understand what that is or the purpose. So yes, you can hand it 100% to your spectators to be inspected if they wanted to. It's not a must, but if you wanted to, or that was a question which we've had, the answer is yes. All right. So then the other question which goes with this, can you really hand the cards to a magician and they will not notice the gimmick? And the answer here is nuanced. Can you hand it to a magician while performing it when you're done? Yes. Will they notice the gimmick? Maybe. If they notice the gimmick, it does not mean that they know the method. Trust me, I feel 100% confident doing this for magicians, handing the cards to them, and if they notice the gimmick, they still will not be able to work out the method. Can you hand it to magicians? Yes. Craig actually addresses this a lot. He addressed it in his rant that he did, and you'll see performances of him performing it to magicians. So yeah, you can hand it to magicians. They can look at it, but they may not still be able to work out the method. All right. Can your spectator pick any number? The answer is no. It is still within a range of cards that must be picked. Now, the vast majority of the deck can be picked. And Craig does address this, and he gives you the ways to best manage to make sure that desired numbers are picked within the deck, and how to handle it if they don't pick one of those numbers. So that is addressed, and with any magic trick, there's often limitations. This is no different than any other one, so that is not abnormal on any release. All right. Will it always be the same card at the chosen number, or can the spectator freely choose any card? And the answer is, it depends. It depends on which routine you want to do. If you want to simply do the simplest routine where the only printed card in the deck happens to be a printed card, you can have whatever card you want there to be that card to do that reveal. But if you want to do an any card at number, Craig will teach you those versions as well. And I think those get more advanced as you go, but there's simple methods to be able to do that as well, which he teaches on top of it. All right, does this effect live up to the hype, and should I buy it? Well, that's a personal question. To make it as simple as possible, if you like this effect, then I say yes, it lives up to the hype. Easy to perform. You'll be able to perform it within 5 minutes of knowing what the method is, and from there you'll just need to practice for whichever routine you really want to do. If you don't like the effect, then it's just not for you, and I'd say move on to the next effect. But I do think it lives up to the hype. And let's face it, hype is just simply marketing. Any company that is selling a product wants to hype up the product so that you will purchase it. I am not going to fault any company or creator for wanting to create hype around their product. I would want to do the same. I want eyeballs on it so that people will purchase the product. So I can't fault them for that. I will just say, pump the brakes for you as a consumer. Wait till we've reviewed it, folks who are doing reviews, and see then if it's right for you before you purchase it. So a lot of folks want to go out there and purchase things on the pre-sale, that sort of stuff. And I would say, you know what? Don't do the pre-sale. Leave that to folks like myself. And then once you get some reviews in and see what it's like in the real world, then make that determination. All right. I think I've addressed how easy it's to perform. You'll be able to perform this within 5 minutes, quite honestly. Oh, one thing I don't want to forget, and I don't think anyone has talked about this yet, and this is, without tipping the entire method, there is math involved. I freaking hate magic tricks that involve math because math is not my strongest suit, and I get anxiety having to make sure that I do the correct math. With all of that said, the math is simple math. We're not talking algebra. We're talking addition, subtraction, multiplication type of level math. Craig gives you a very simple formula that you can do in real time in your head when you're performing this. I feel comfortable with this level of math. I don't love it that I have to do math in the middle of a performance, but I just simply have been practicing at home, rolling 4 dice, getting random numbers, and quickly as I can, doing the math in my head so that I can perform. So, but there is math involved. I think that's an exclusive right here. Not sure that is mentioned anywhere else. All right. All right. Is the gimmick durable, and how long will it last? Well, they are playing cards, and because they're playing cards, they will wear out. They're good quality playing cards because they're United States playing cards right here. With that said, cards will wear out over time, and you'll need to get new ones. Craig does include in this additional cards in case your cards get bent up or something of that nature, that you'll have additional cards to replace them out. You can also make the gimmick yourself, and Craig will address that in the tutorial and talk briefly about how you make your own gimmick if you want to make your own gimmicked deck. So that is possible. And I will say here too, in terms of, and I'm not tipping a method here, I'm simply answering the question in terms of the durability and how long will it last. I would say in terms of, for me, if you have an invisible deck and you're familiar with an invisible deck, that is another type of a gimmicked deck. That deck will last for a certain amount of time depending on how much you handle it. This is very similar in terms of that this gimmick style here will probably last similar to an invisible deck. All right, not tipping method, just addressing the question of durability. All right, let's see. I would say too, once you learn how the gimmick is made, and if you haven't made gimmicks yourself before, I would encourage you to sort of learn how to make this gimmick. And there's different ways of making it out there, and find the way to make it that works best for you. All right, how much does it cost, and is it a good value? In the United States, this is $39.95, and I'll go back to what I said earlier about the hype. If you like this type of effect, then I think it's a value. Where this one distinguishes itself is that this style of gimmick sells for around this price point right now, anywhere from $30 to $40 at this price point. And the difference here is that you get 5.5 hours of content on top of the gimmicked deck. Are there performance restrictions? Like, do I have to be at a table to perform this, or can I perform it standing up? And are there any angle issues? Well, this can be performed standing up, or, I should say at a table or not. The vast majority of these effects, in my opinion, are best done at a table, so you can be dealing cards down to a table. Or if you're doing any of the routines that involve 2 decks, I just think it's easier if you have a table to perform at a table. And whether you're standing at the table or sitting at the table, I don't think matters. You can do it where you deal cards into your spectators' hands, and that works as well. It's not my personal preference, but yes, you can do it standing or sitting, and there are no real angle restrictions on this. All right. Let's get into what I think of as this stupid stuff now. So at the end of the day, I really like the Quantum deck. It works as advertised, and I don't have any problem with the ad copy in this, in that it does what it says. And I think it ticks off a lot of boxes. If you're a beginner, you can do this within 5 minutes. And I think same for a hobbyist. You'll love it. And I think if you're a worker, this is something you can add to your repertoire, and is great for the worker, as Craig's a worker, and this is something that he uses in his performances. So with all of that said, now let's get into the stupid stuff. Craig Petty got into a row with Luke Dancy. If you don't know who Luke Dancy is, Luke Dancy, formerly with Murphy's Magic. Prior to Murphy's Magic, he worked for Chris Angel on Mind Freak as a consultant there for quite a few years, and now has his own online magic shop at All Things Magic, and they have a Facebook Live that they do on Tuesdays, a Taco Tuesday, which is a lot of fun, and he did a review of the Quantum deck on there. Now, he said a couple things about the Quantum deck that were not 100% accurate, or certainly his opinion, and differs from my opinion. And so this upset Craig Petty, because Craig felt like it was really misinformation and was inaccurate information, and felt like Luke Dancy was lying about the product. So anyway, Craig goes on one of his classic rants, which he promised he wouldn't do, but he did. And then he essentially tells Luke Dancy to fuck off. And I think I just take issue here with Craig and going off on these rants. Craig, if you're listening, the Quantum deck is awesome. It stands by itself and can stand on itself. It's a really great product, and not everyone's going to love it. That's just the way the real world works, and I think you know that, I've acknowledged that. The part I just disagree with is that when we publicly are tearing down sort of our peers out there. I have just as much respect for you as I do for Luke Dancy. I don't know either of you personally, but from what I see in the magic community, I enjoy both of the work that you both do. And sometimes people just make mistakes. I don't think particularly this is good for our younger magicians who watch you and in the community, that a model, and you are a model for the community, that we're tearing other people down in this way. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be defending your product, and when false allegations are set out there, you definitely should be standing up for that. I just don't like the manner in which we're taking people down. So with that said, I'm going to reveal something here that I've never revealed on the channel. I'm not only a magician, not only a musician, I'm also a trained therapist. Yep, I'm actually a trained therapist, and I've had a private practice as a therapist with a specialty in relationship therapy. So I'm going to offer to both Craig and to Luke at no cost. We can do a Zoom session with me to work out the row between the two of you so that we can repair damages in the community and set examples for young people in terms of how we resolve disagreement. So I'm offering that to you. We don't need to do it live. We don't need to do it for everyone to see. If you want to, of course, we can do that live here on the channel and do that as well to set a good example. But you can just reach out to me, or I'll reach out to you guys and offer that up to you if you would like to resolve these issues. I often think I have kids and they watch YouTube channels that I really like, but some of their content creators are cursing up a storm and I hear it from the other room and I just think, it's just not necessary for all of that. And while I'm no saint, I curse like a sailor off camera. Anyone who knows me knows that. I like colorful language. I think of it as like spices in cooking. I really like it. It's great punctuation in the real world, but I often think it's a bad example for young people. So anyway, not everyone's going to agree with me on that. That's okay. I think we can disagree without having to rip apart the character of one another. So I'm going to leave that there. I hope this review was really helpful for you. I really genuinely appreciate that you're here. Leave a comment below if you agree with me, disagree with me on some of the things that I've said. If you've got the quantum deck, some of the things that you've learned from it that would be helpful for the rest of the community to know. I love my comments section to sort of have that dialogue going on there. That's a really rich experience and helpful for one another. And if you haven't liked, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.